Welcome everyone to Music and Spirit. It's Reverend Kim Marie Glenn, and I'm so grateful to be with you all here on a sunny day. This is all about the Gratitude Challenge, so we have Reverend Don Chatfield here who's going to speak to that a little bit later, and I'm so happy to have Kit Anderson here. She's our harpist, and let me read to you a little bit about her. She began playing harp about 22 years ago, and she plays for weddings and other celebrations, but she really loves to provide the healing sounds of the harp for prayer and contemplation. So we just got together and she said, "Thank you for returning me to the harp." So we're glad that you returned to the harp too, Kit. I just want to offer a couple things that are coming up. As we continue to adapt with so many changes in this world and here at All Souls, we've been having our services right now at 11, but we are listening to everyone and we're hearing the call to go back to 5 o'clock. So I just want everyone to know that the next services, Music and Spirit, will all be at 5. We continue to do our 9 o'clock Zoom meditation services as well, and right now, everything is online, so you can go to our website and see all the different things that we're offering. A couple other things is we are also going to have a holiday service, and it's called Spiritual Lessons of Home. So you can mark that on your calendar, and we hope that we'll see you there. And we're also going to have a New Year's Eve service. So lots to come and look forward to, so much to be grateful for. And I just wanted to offer gratitude to so many of you who, again, hold this community and also hold the outer community. We had 318 items that we collected for the food shelf. So thank you to so many of you who helped deliver it and bring it here. We also have been collecting warm wishes, we call it, coats and vests and warm things for the family room, and so far I think we've collected over 40. So those keep coming in, and you can keep bringing them until Tuesday at noon. So we're just so grateful to be doing that and to think about extending our gratitude and our love outside of our community. So with that, I'm going to start our opening words. What I thought I would do is I'm going to read a poem called Gratitude by David White. For the opening words, I'm going to read the first portion, and for the closing words, I'll finish it because it's a little bit lengthy but beautiful. So David White says that gratitude is not a passive response to something given to us. Gratitude is being awake in the presence of everything that lives within and without us. Gratitude is not something that is shown after the event. It is the deep state of attention that shows that we understand that we are equal to the gifted nature of life. Gratitude is the understanding that millions of things come together and live together, and breathe together in order for us to take even one more breath of fresh air. That the underlying gift of life and incarnation as a living, participating human being is a privilege. That we are a part of something rather than nothing. Even if that something is temporarily pain or despair, we inhabit a living world with real faces and real voices, laughter, the color blue, the green of fields, and the freshness of a cold wind, or the tawny hue of a winter landscape. So Kit is going to start us off with My Welsh Home, and I hope that you'll all find yourselves at home.
Good morning. We come now to the time for the lighting of our chalice, and today's chalice reading comes to us by way of Katie Gelfand. I invite you to listen contemplatively as we hear her words together. We light our chalice as a symbol of gratitude as we celebrate the abundance of our lives together. In this spiritual community, we harvest bushels of strength for one another, and we offer our crop with the hands of compassion and generosity. In the authentic and gentle manner of our connections, we cultivate a simple sweetness to brighten our spirits. May we be grateful for today, for all the ways we nourish and uplift one another. For it is the sharing of this hallowed time together that sustains us. As we come to the end of November, we are wrapping up our theme for this month, and that is gathering gratitude. And as Reverend Kim Marie mentioned, we are so thrilled with the outpouring of gifts for our community in the form of food for the food shelf, winter outerwear, and also your response to the Angel Fund. So during this time when we celebrate and give thanks for all of our blessings, I'm especially proud that All Souls Interfaith Gathering shares those blessings with our community. Thanksgiving Day has now passed, and although many of us were not able to get together with as many people as we would usually, we still found plenty of things to be thankful for this year. And you may remember that a couple of weeks ago we talked about the possibility of living in a complaint-free world, and I suggested you might try the rubber band challenge on your wrist, where if you find yourself complaining, you simply move the band to the other wrist. With the idea being that by choosing to avoid complaining, we make more room for gratitude in our lives. And that complaint-free challenge is for a period of 21 days. But how much difference can 3 weeks really make in your life? Well, they tell us that forming a new habit takes about 3 weeks. That depends on a lot of different factors. But today I'd like to encourage you to think about a new challenge. If you've started the complaint-free challenge, I encourage you to keep that up. But let's layer a new one on top, and that's the gratitude challenge. Because for the next 3 weeks, I'd like to encourage you to practice gratitude on a daily basis. Now, the benefits of gratitude, consciously being aware of and practicing gratitude, are really quite well documented. There's a surprising amount of research that shows that gratitude has impacts on our health and our general well-being. People who have thanked others for their help are more likely to help other people in the future. Did you know that people who make it a habit to practice deep gratitude also sleep better at night? Or that people who practice gratitude are more patient and also make better decisions as a result of gratitude? So gratitude can deepen our relationships with one another and also improve our physical health. In a study at the University of California at Davis, researchers looked at the benefits of keeping a gratitude journal. And the participants in the study for 10 weeks wrote a few sentences each day about gratitude. And they found that those in the study experienced more positive outlook and optimistic view of life. They also exercised more often. I found that interesting. And they had fewer trips to the doctor. So being grateful is just good for you all around. So what we're talking about today is starting with 3 weeks, but really building a practice of gratitude that lasts all year long, not just the week of Thanksgiving. Because that also helps us to grow spiritually. Many of the teachings of the great spiritual leaders focus on gratitude, and I'd like to consider just a few of those today. The first teaching helps us to remember that gratitude reveals the interconnectedness of us all. When Karen and I lived at the Forest of Peace, we often on Sunday afternoons said goodbye to people who were with us for a meditation retreat. And they would often ask me for a recommendation about a mindfulness practice when they got home. And I would often suggest one that left some of them dubious, but it was the simple practice of noticing gratitude and being mindful of that each day. The mindful cultivation of gratitude. It's really the sweetest of all the spiritual practices for deepening the spiritual life, and I think it's also the most easily cultivated. It requires the least sacrifice for what we gain in return. It's a very powerful form of mindfulness practice. Now, the Buddha taught that every human birth is precious and worthy of gratitude. In one of his well-known analogies, he said that receiving a human birth, moving into this body, is rarer than the chance of a blind turtle at sea poking its head up through a hoop. And the Buddha would often instruct a monk to take a ground cloth into the forest, to sit at the base of a tree, and to begin what the Buddha called gladdening the heart by reflecting on the series of fortunate circumstances that gave the monk the motivation and the ability to seek freedom through understanding spiritual teachings. So you see, practicing gratitude consistently leads us to a direct experience of being connected to all of life and to the realization that there is a larger context in which your personal story is unfolding. When we are relieved of the endless wants and worries of life's drama, even temporarily, it's very liberating. So cultivating thankfulness for being part of life blossoms into a feeling of being blessed, not in the sense of winning the lottery, but in a more refined appreciation for the interdependent nature of all of life. It also brings up in us feelings of generosity, which create even further joy. Gratitude can soften our heart if it's become too guarded, and it builds the capacity for forgiveness, creating the clarity of mind that's ideal for spiritual development. So you see, attending to a practice of gratitude regularly helps us to understand that we are all connected. We are all interdependent, and that our story is part of a much bigger story. But there's another lesson to be learned, and that is that gratitude keeps us connected to reality. Is that right, Dawn? Gratitude keeps us connected to reality? Have you ever met one of those people who seems to be wearing rose-colored glasses? Everything is awesome. Everything is wonderful. And even if things are falling apart around them, they don't seem to recognize it, and they may seem out of touch with reality. Well, the practice of gratitude is not a denial of life's difficulties. It's not wearing rose-colored glasses. We do live in troubling times, and no doubt many of you have experienced some challenges this very week. Nor does the practice of gratitude deny the Buddha's teaching on death. Death is certain. Your death is certain. The time of death is unknown, and the time of your death is unknown. But instead, gratitude practice is useful because it turns our minds in such a way that we're able to live into our lives, or perhaps more accurately, to die into life. Having access to the joy and wonderment of life is actually the antidote to feelings of scarcity and loss. It allows us to meet life's difficulties with an open heart. And the understanding that we get from practicing gratitude frees us from being lost or identified with negative aspects of our life. Instead, we're able to simply meet each moment in our life as it rises up. In the Christian scriptures, the Apostle Paul gives this instruction: in everything give thanks. Now, what he means, I believe, is that from our limited perspective, it's not possible to know the outcome of any event. What might seem unfortunate at first may turn out to actually be an unforeseen blessing. There's an old Sufi story about a man whose son captured a strong, beautiful, wild horse. And all of the neighbors told the man how fortunate he was. And the man patiently replied, "We will see." And then one day the horse threw the son and broke his leg. And all of the neighbors told the man how cursed he was that the son had ever found the horse. Again, the man answered, "We will see." And then soon after the son broke his leg, soldiers came to the village and took away all of the able-bodied young men. But his son with the broken leg was spared. And when his friends told him how lucky the broken leg was, the man would say only this: "We will see." You see, gratitude for participating in the mystery of life brings us to the ability to give thanks in every instance. Now, I know that many of you, if not most of you, have heard the wonderful poem by the Sufi poet Rumi called "The Guest House." I'd like to read it for you now, and I'd like for you to think, as you hear these words, about the ability to allow gratitude to connect you with reality. The Guest House by Rumi. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. Gratitude practiced in this manner brings us delight, balances out our tendency to focus on the negative, and can even lift a dark mood. So, gratitude helps us to remember how interconnected we are with everyone and everything. It also keeps us grounded in the reality of the moment. And the final note I would add is that gratitude as a spiritual practice requires, practice. We need to do it regularly. Now, there are many ways to use mindfulness and meditation to cultivate gratitude. Of course, it's easy to acknowledge appreciation when things are going great, But it's even more helpful to notice those things for which we are grateful when things aren't going our way. So, how can we do this? I'd like to just give you a few practical tips. One, you might begin by reflecting on gratitude by asking if it is time-based. In other words, what happened to all of that gratitude that you felt in the past? Where did it go? Do you believe that gratitude depends on feeling good right now? If so, that's kind of a what have you done for me lately attitude. Perhaps we can take an attitude of holding gratitude as timeless. Or you can also begin this week by choosing to be consciously grateful to your family, your friends, your teachers, your benefactors, all of those who have come before you. At our meditation service this morning, we talked a bit about our ancestors, the saints who've gone before us, our teachers. All of these people have made it possible for our existence to be more comfortable, informed, and empowered. So perhaps you can take just a few minutes at the end of each day to mentally note how many people, those traffic jams at the traffic lights, and you're noticing that you're going to be late and you're feeling irritated. You could choose instead to notice how thankful you are to have the transportation you're riding in. Or to be grateful that at least most other drivers are abiding by the agreed upon safety rules. By making this mental shift, you're doing it not to get out of a bad mood or to be a nicer person, but to clearly see the true situation of your life. The traffic remains frustrating, sure, but the inner experience of how your life is unfolding begins to shift. And slowly you become clearer about what really matters to you. And there is much more ease and flow in your daily life. Another approach would be to look at your gratitude ratio. Do you experience the good things in life in true proportion to the bad things? Or do the bad things receive a disproportionate amount of your attention so that you have a distorted sense of life? When I was working as a therapist at an addiction recovery center, one evening in group, one of our participants began by sharing about this jerk on the way to work who cut him off, and then the jerk at work who wasn't, and on all day long, at which point my co-leader in the group said, I'm just going to make a ground rule going forward that from now on, each of us only gets 2 jerks per day. Because after that, we might want to start looking at ourselves. So what is your gratitude ratio in life? Are there more jerks coming into your life, or are there more blessings for which you're grateful? But what if you're not just a naturally grateful person? Luckily, we can learn gratitude by practicing it. And that's where the 21-day gratitude challenge comes in. It allows us to foster a new attitude of gratitude by asking us to look around and to express thankfulness for the good things in our lives. So which approach is the right one for you? You'll have to decide that on your own. And if you're new to the idea of practicing gratitude, a more structured approach might help you to get past the yeah, I'm grateful for my family and the roof over my head stage, and start really paying attention to the world around you. It helps us to cultivate a sense of mindfulness and appreciation for simple things, and to recognize all of the positive aspects of even the most difficult and challenging situations. David Stendhal Rast is a Benedictine monk, an author and lecturer. He's well known for interfaith dialogue and also teaching about spirituality and science. Probably most well known for his teachings on mindfulness. And David says this: the root of joy is gratefulness. It is not joy that makes us grateful. It is gratitude that makes us joyful. So that grace of a conscious life, of having a mind that can know this moment is like this moment, is the root of all wonder, from which gratitude flows. And the wonder, the mystery, is that you, like everyone else, are given this short, precious time of conscious embodiment in which you can directly know life for yourself. Gratitude for the grace of conscious embodiment evolves into a practice of selfless gratitude, in which our concerns slowly and surely shift away from being mostly about ourselves and those close to us to truly being about all living beings. And when this happens, we need less and less in the way of good fortune. It becomes enough that there are those who are happy, who are receiving love, who are safe, and who have a promising future. It's not that you and I would not prefer good things for ourselves, but our sense of well-being is no longer dependent on external things. So we can rejoice in the middle of all of life's suffering that there does exist joy. We realize that pain and joy are part of a mysterious whole. And as we allow this state of selfless gratitude to blossom within our lives, our minds become more spacious, quieter, and our hearts receive the first taste of a long-sought release from fear and want. And this is grace. May it be so. As we enter our time of prayer and meditation, I invite you to find a place that's comfortable there for you to settle in for a while. If you'd like to light a candle as we begin this time, please feel free to do that now. And as you settle in, begin to feel your body letting go. If it feels comfortable, allow your eyes to be gently closed. And notice what parts of your body are awake and what other areas of your body are emerging. Draw your attention to the very tip of your toes and give them a slight wiggle. And then, in slow measure, make your way up the legs to the slight curve of your lower back. Feel the slow and steady draw of your breath in and out. Notice the beat of your heart. And finally, focus on the crown of your head. I invite you now, as you listen to these words of gratitude, to just notice what images come into your mind. Let them emerge one by one, fading in, fading out. Checking in with your body and exploring how new sensations rise and fall away. In gratitude, we are full of love and joy for the splendor and abundance of thanksgiving. Much has been given in time of harvest to receive from nature's breast and nourish our body and spirit. In gratitude, we see empty sky of golden turquoise. The leaves turn of burgundy and yellow sugar maples. In gratitude, we see deer grazing upon fall wheat, of farmers planting onions and cabbage, knowing the rhythm of the earth. In gratitude, we hear the call of migratory birds, their symmetric V-shaped flight formation, of geese seeking the south, and at dusk, the whimper of the coyote. In gratitude, I hear bees retreating into their hive, the snarl of the wind moaning against the boats on the shore, the sound of trees bending, reverberating throughout the forest. In gratitude, we smell decomposing leaves, the great northern pine, apple pie served piping, goblets of fermented grapes, and lush, damp earth. In gratitude, I smell the waft of baked pumpkin seeds and burnt sugar crisp, the last lingering load of laundry on the line, and the scent of wool sweaters. In gratitude, we taste the bounty and gifts from nature of aromatic cider, roasted vegetables, and cranberry-crusted delight, a hint of oak, malt, and spice. In gratitude, I taste delights from nature's garden, the sharpness of the Brussels sprout, and creamed butternut squash, of roasted root vegetables, and the snap of the parsnip. In gratitude, we touch cords of wood tossed into the fire and run fingers along the noble oak leaf, pressed and immortalized in a book. In gratitude, we touch the woolly bear caterpillar and wonder what of winter will appear, of plucking the pine cone and scattering seeds for squirrels, who stores for chilled nights. All of this and more, our senses explore the mystery of autumn, and unforgiveness of passing to lie dormant and sleep with knowledge of renewal. In gratitude, we express our deepest appreciation for bounty from fields and forests, knowing we are a part of the cycle, giving back what abundance has been given to us. And so it is.
Thank you, Dawn. My stomach at one point was just really happy thinking about all the delicious foods, and there's so much to be grateful for. This is the time for our offering blessing, and as I thought of the word offering, I kept thinking about how there's so many ways to offer. Just by being ourselves, we can, change people's lives. So I just wanted to take a moment just to thank all of you. In so many ways, you have moved me. And I also was thinking about all the ways that we offer here. We had the food drive, we had the winter wish drive. Right now, I just wanted to say thank you for all of those who are giving to the Angel Fund, which is a fund that helps kids in need at the Shelburne Community School. And let you know, if you haven't given and you would like to, that it's going to, all the checks have to be in by December 9th. So thank you so much for all the ways you offer yourself, your presence, and all your contributions to this community. If you want to give, we have an online donation button that is very easy to find. And I'd love to do our offering blessing here, and you can join me if you know it, saying it out loud. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give. And another thing to be grateful for is Kit's going to be playing Rest and Be Thankful. It's about Mountain Valley in Scotland. So if you want to take this music in and imagine your favorite mountain or valley, I hope that it will inspire that scene. Thank you, Kit, for your beautiful music. And I just wanted to end, we were going to do our closing words, but before I did, I just had this thought about all the things I'm grateful for that I can't even see. You know, we can picture and we can visualize things, but there's so much we don't even see. One of those things right now is Dan York. I want to thank for being behind the scenes. You don't see him here, but he's connecting us all. The amazing magic of connection to the World Wide Web. So what Dawn said is that we're all connected to a bigger story, which includes the unseen. And I think this ending, which I said I would end with David White's poem Gratitude, this is another piece from it. I think it speaks to that. To sit among friends and strangers, hearing many voices, strange opinions, to intuit inner lives beneath surface lives, to inhabit many worlds at once in this world, to be a someone amongst all other someones, and therefore to make a conversation without saying a word is to deepen our sense of presence and therefore our natural sense of thankfulness, that everything happens both with us and without us, that we are participants and witnesses all at once. Thankfulness finds its full measure in generosity of presence, both through participation and witness. We sit at the table, part of every other person's world, while making our own world without will or effort. This is what is extraordinary and gifted. This is the essence of gratefulness, seeing to the heart of privilege. Thanksgiving happens when our sense of presence meets all other presences. So throughout this week, I hope you meet all other presences, and I can't wait to take on some of those new ideas about ways to practice gratitude. And I just wanted to thank everyone. I know one of the things I'm really grateful for is seeing you all. So I wanted you all to know that Don and I and the team are working on ways that we can interact for these services. And possibly by next week, we may have a more interactive service on Zoom. So please stay connected and see where we are to go and how we are to connect. And I'm so grateful for all of you. I hope you have an amazing week ahead. We'll see you next week, December 6th, for Bodhi Day and Today with Migmar Saring as our traditional Tibetan musician joining us. Thank you so much. So grateful.